People and political organizations from Latin America commemorate 20 years of saying no to the free trade area of the Americas. In the United States, people demonstrate against President Donald Trump's policies in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, in the one-year anniversary of his presidency re-election. In Palestine, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, reports the worst crisis of forced displacement since 1967 in the West Bank. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Sofia Fernandez from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Argentina, social trade unions and political organizations commemorate 20 years of saying no to the free trade area of the Americas. The organizations remember the historic date when the peoples of Latin America and the Caribbean stopped the FTAA project, which sought regional domination and control. During the commemoration, and with the slogan "For the sovereignty of the peoples against the rights and neoliberalism," attendees emphasized that the U.S. plan was not about free trade, but about free exploitation. For his part, Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel celebrated the occasion and urged the region to continue the struggle against the U.S. empire. For his part, the governor of Buenos Aires province, Axel Kicillof, highlighted the role of the people of Latin America in the historic No to the Free Trade Area of the Americas project, promoted by the United States Empire.
The People's Summit would not have taken place here, the no to the FTAA would not have happened if it were not for the representation and as a result of the struggles that had been going on in Latin America for a very long time. It was the people of Latin America that defeated the FTAA.
Meanwhile, in Venezuela, the 20th anniversary of the No to FTAA movement and the struggle of the peoples to confront the threats of neoliberalism and the continent is commemorated. From the Rómulo Gallegos Center for Latin American and Caribbean Studies in Caracas, the documentary Fight Against the FTAA, Challenge of the Peoples was screened. Venezuela remembers that thanks to the efforts of Commander Hugo Chavez, the initiative to free itself from imperial hegemony and the neoliberal measures of the free trade area of the Americas was born. The documentary shows how Chavez's strategy and his union with social movements, leaders and activists in America helped bury the FTAA with the emergence of the ALBA and maintain the resistance of the peoples.
We are gathered here today to commemorate a tremendous victory that our people achieved 20 years ago. In this moment of our nation's history,
en este momento de nuestra patria, congregarnos significa
gathering together is extremely important, as it brings the victories of that event to light, providing guidance and understanding that it was not just something that happened, but that it continues and is an ongoing process.
Algo que pasó, sino que sigue y la lucha continúa y es un proceso en pleno desarrollo.
A family from eastern Venezuela decided to start its own business in Parque Caiza, Miranda State, called the Granary of God. It shows that livestock and poultry production can be a source of hope for the future. We invite you to watch a new episode of Venezuela on the Move with Álvaro Fragua.
Of God was born from a family dream, a project that combines love for animals with the desire to produce healthy, locally sourced food in a country where poultry consumption is increasing every year and is estimated at almost 30 kilograms per person.
Yes, well, it all started with a dream, talking to my wife, at home. Well, look, I want to do this, I want to do that, and well, we've always been motivated by animals, right?
Here quails grow free from artificial lighting. When they follow their natural cycles, they produce more than 300 eggs daily and around 8,000 each month. Jesus takes care of them every day. The key, he tells us, is to keep them in peace and in tranquility.
They are very calm. As long as you don't stress them out, they are calm. They are birds that you can keep anywhere, as long as you don't stress them out. If you stress them out, especially when they are laying eggs, they stop laying.
In Venezuela, quail consumption has become popular due to its high nutritional value. It contains more iron, vitamin B12, and up to 13% protein, a more complete option than chicken eggs.
Look, the quality of the egg is 100%. We take great care to ensure that the bird has all the calcium it needs so that the shell becomes completely hard for transport. And well, quail eggs have a special flavor, that's for sure, but very good. You'd have to try it so you can call me and say, hey, look, sell me some too.
Angeli left the city to build a new life in the country with her husband. Today she says that the change was drastic, but that she found the peace she was looking for and a different way to raise her daughter.
The change is drastic, but I really like it. It catches my attention. Living with the animals, with the birds, is all very quiet. You feel a lot of peace.
The secret, she tells us, lies in the love and dedication with which they work on each product. Work that is not only about marketing, but also about providing quality food.
Yes, because everything lies in the commitment and the love that we put into it. We don't just do this for commercial reasons. We treat every egg that arrives with the utmost dedication so that people can not only eat it but also enjoy the benefit that it brings.
In a country where poultry production already exceeds 500,000 tons per year, projects such as the Granary of God brings diversification, quality, and community organization. Gabriel aspires to continue growing, strengthening Farmers' Council, and continuing to promote food sovereignty.
Now with the creation of what they call the peasant councils, I am one of their spokespersons and well, we hope for the support to arrive so that we can show them who we are and what we can do, and they really see that we support them too.
From Caiza Park, the Granary of God represents an example of the new direction of the Venezuelan countryside, producing with love, respect, and community organization.
Esto fue Venezuela en Movimiento y yo soy Álvaro Fragua. Hasta la próxima.
And now we have a short break coming up. But first, remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. In the United States, Washington, D.C. was the scene of a demonstration on Wednesday, marking 1 year since U.S. President Donald Trump's elections to be a second term in an office and celebrating the defeat of Republicans in several local elections in the past days. From the U.S. Capitol, hundreds of people gathered by the Refuse Fascism platform, demanding an end to what they describe as the president's fascist regime, chanting slogans such as "Trump must go." The day also coincides with the anniversary of Trump's victory in the November 5, 2024 presidential elections, a day that, according to those in attendance, was the result of all of his lies. At the protest, criticism of anti-immigrant policies was the focus, emphasizing the harassment by the Trump administration and the raids carried out by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE. Also in the United States, in New York, with record turnout at the polls and one of the highest in U.S. state and local elections, Democrats swept the board. Citizens voted against the violent, discriminatory, and anti-immigrant and interference agenda of the Trump administration. Sarah Mamdani, the young legislator who was unknown until a few months ago, became the face of victory for migrants and Muslims criminalized by the White House policies. After winning with more than 50% of the vote in New York, likewise, the victory of Democrats Mike Shehril and Abigail Spangenberg snatched the governors of New Jersey and Virginia from the Republicans. In addition, other victories in elections for prosecutors, courts, and referendums far exceed the Democrats' 2024 results in all special elections. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump declared Miami a refuge for those fleeing from what he called communist regime of New York. This statement was made at the America Business Forum held at Casilla Center in Miami, Florida on Tuesday, after the victory of Socialist Democrat Zohran Mamdani as mayor of New York. The president acknowledged that the results were not good for the Republican Party. President Trump also attributed the loss of key places like in Virginia and New Jersey to the fact that his name was not on the ballot and to the current federal government shutdown. Furthermore, Trump emphasized that he has carried out attacks against vessels in international waters in the Caribbean and the Pacific, resulting in the death of at least 67 people since September 2nd, and justified these operations as part of his war on drug trafficking. In other news, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum filed a complaint against the men who harassed her this Tuesday outside the National Palace. The Mexican president reported that legal action was filed in Mexico City, while lamenting and detailing the incident. After the harassment, the Mexican leader realized that she was not the only victim, and that the accused had repeated this action against other women on the same street. He was arrested and is currently in protective custody. Sheinbaum emphasized that this incident is not solely related to her as the highest authority in the country, but to all Mexican women, to guarantee respect for women in every sense.
My reflection is, if I don't report the crime, then what will happen to all the Mexican women? If this is done to the president, what will happen to all the young women in our country? Then it has to be reported to the General Prosecutor's Office of the City of Mexico, because it's a crime.
Moving on to Argentina, following the scandal over a documentary by Judge Julieta Maguinacht that forced the previous trial to be declared null and void, the court ruled on Wednesday that the new trial for the death of Diego Armando Maradona will begin on March 17th. The magistrates alleged collaboration of the filming of the unauthorized documentary provisionally titled Divine Justice, which was being made in parallel and secretly. The three judges were removed and the trial was declared null and void. That trial, in which the testimony of almost 100 witnesses was recorded, was judging the health professionals charged with the death of the soccer player. Maguinac has his license as a lawyer revoked and is now facing trial for unethical conduct. We have a second short break coming up. Before, we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, but we'll be right back with more from the South. Don't go away. Welcome back. In Palestine, the occupied West Bank is experiencing the worst crisis of forced displacement since 1967, linked to Israel's military raids and Zionist settler violence. According to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, more than 42,000 Palestinians have been forced to leave their homes since October 2023. Furthermore, UNRWA denounced the alarming increase in attacks by Israeli settlers against Palestinian olive farmers in the West Bank, which, according to the Colonization and War Resistance Commission of the Palestinian Authority, 2,350 attacks were recorded in October 2025 alone, describing it as a continuous cycle of terror. Israeli military forces carried out 1,584 of these attacks, including physical assaults, demolitions, and the uprooting of olive trees, which Zionist settlers perpetrated at least 766 attacks. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Ministry of Education reopened the historic Al-Kamayiliyah school, located east of Gaza City. Gaza authorities reported that the former educational center opened its doors to welcome more than 300 Gaza students in a two-shift system, morning and afternoon. The initiative aims to meet the needs of dozens of children eager to recover their lives in the coastal enclave after years of continuous siege by Israel. On the other hand, parents demanded more places to enroll their children so that they could revive social and cultural development, despite the destruction caused by the siege.
My children attended a private school. Now, due to the circumstances, the poor conditions of the roads, the lack of transportation, and the need to repair and renovate the schools, we have been forced to enroll them in educational initiatives in the area, where we flew after the destruction of our homes. These initiatives have limited places. Today, I came to enroll them, but I couldn't because they were full and the space was too small to accommodate more students. For 3 years, we have suffered because our children have been deprived of education, but we are trying to compensate them for what they have lost. Most schools in the Gaza Strip were destroyed during the occupation. This particular school is located in eastern Gaza. Neighbors in the area suggested we use it, so we began preparing the space with the local community, who clean and equip the school to start classes. There are 300 students in this school. We are working with the resources available and hope to be able to accommodate more students. Parents want their children to return to school after an interruption of over 2 years due to the war. As you know, the Palestinian people have one of the highest literacy rates in the world. I couldn't return to my old school, so I came here. All our schools were destroyed. Before the war, we used to go to school, learn, play, and have fun. I want to continue my studies until the end.
In other news, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, of the United Nations has warned of the intensification of hunger in Sudan due to the access restrictions resulting from armed conflict. According to the World Food Programme and the United Nations Children's Fund, cases of food insecurity and malnutrition were concentrated in the western regions of the African country. In this regard, the FAO called for an immediate ceasefire in the country to enable humanitarian aid access and ensure the protection of livelihoods and the prevent of loss of lives. Additionally, it emphasized its commitment to supporting communities where conditions permit it. Also in Africa, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, nearly 25 million people will suffer from food insecurity between September and December 2025. The Congolese Ministry of Agriculture reported that the situation will worsen in 2026 for the population due to armed conflicts, climate change and population displacement. The agency emphasized that violence in the region makes it difficult to deliver humanitarian aid due to a lack of funds. It urged an end to hostilities to facilitate humanitarian access to the most vulnerable areas, create a social protection program, and strengthen food prices controls. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. declared a state of emergency on Thursday after Typhoon Kalmaegi left at least 114 people dead and 127 missing. Most of the victims died from drowning in flash floods, many of them in the central province of Cebu, which has been heavily affected. Before the tropical cyclone left the archipelago on Wednesday towards the South China Sea. The typhoon affected almost 2 million people, including about 450,000 villagers who were evacuated to emergency shelters. The area around the city of Cebu received 183 millimeters of rain in the 24 hours prior to Kalmaegi's impact, well above its monthly average of 131 millimeters. Meanwhile, in Cuba, President Miguel Díaz-Canel visited the provinces most affected by Hurricane Melissa. During his visit, which began on the province of Santiago de Cuba, the president inspected the reconstruction work on houses and vital infrastructure damaged by the hurricane. The visit continued in the province of Granma, where the Uber Bridge was seriously affected by landslides, and where the president called for the engineering brigades to be reinforced in order to speed up its repair. On the other hand, the authorities continue to work to fully restore connectivity in the region. Hurricane Melissa caused floodings, overflows, and landslides that seriously affected roads and bridges. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And join us on social media. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For Telesur English, I'm Sophie Fernandez. Thank you for watching.